And we're back. That was quick. Johnny Carson called me on that break. I love Johnny Carson. He was great. Now, what we have a problem with is insurance companies. And believe me, I worked for them for 5 years. What if you had, because here's how they worked. Okay, let's say I'm thinking, okay, January 1st. January 1st is when the policy would start. Okay? And I'm thinking, I'm 54 years old. I think I'd like to get laser or LASIK surgery done on my eyes because I can't hardly see. That's going to cost $1,000. I'd like to get something else done, whatever. And things that the insurance company will not cover. They will not cover anything that's cosmetic. So you start out, okay, I want a $5,000, because I think I'm going to spend $5,000 this year on health care. So you go and you open up your $5,000 health care savings plan. On day one, that $5,000 is available, and they would take out of your paycheck to put into it. Let's do the math real quick. Zip up my calendar. $5,000 divided by 52 weeks. $96 a week. Okay? $96 a week. My health insurance plan could cost me as much as $400 a month and not cover everything that I might need done that year. Whereas a $5,000 health savings account for $5,000 at $96 a week maybe could. In case, forbidding any catastrophic incident. Okay? So, in those cases, life and death situations should be taken care of automatically. You go to a doctor because you want to go to a doctor because you have a cold. Pay for it out of your health insurance savings plan. And some of these prices do need to be subject. I mean, because the way the insurance companies work, a doctor in California charges, let's say, $1,000 for an office visit, and let's say all he does is a normal checkup. But in New York, it's $1,500. In the Midwest, it's $900. Then what the insurance companies do is they add all those together and they do an average. And they say, okay, if you want to be part of our network, here's what you must accept as our allowance. This is what we allow. This is what we'll pay, and you cannot bill the patient a penny more than that. So let's say it's the allowed amount is $900, and you pay $30 in your copay. All the doctor can bill the insurance company is $870, and the insurance company pays it. Well, with a health savings plan, you go to, that could be with what you want done. Some people can say, I got a cold. I'll just go to the drugstore, get some cold pills, get some NyQuil, and I'll get through it. That's what I do. Unless it's an absolute freaking life or death emergency, all right, and I feel like I'm going to die, or there's just nothing that works. That's the only time I go to the doctor. It's still private sector, and it's still paid for by you. The government's not paying for it. But what should happen, let's say on December 31st, and you still got $3,000, instead of that disappearing, should roll over. Now next year I want to buy another $5,000 one, but I still had $3,000 left over this year. Now I've got $8,000 I could spend. That's the way it should be. That should be the health insurance reform. You know, I have no problem with, you know, health insurance companies wanting to make some sort of a profit, but gee whiz. Okay, we know the government can't do it. Look at Medicare. Medicare sucks. Medicare totally 100% sucks. People on Medicare, that's why they have to buy a Medicare supplement policy that sometimes costs $200 to $300 more a month. They're paying $96 for Medicare, and all Medicare will pay is 80% of only certain things. And it looks like I may not even get a chance to touch on some of this stuff Rush Limbaugh touched on. See where I'm at. 6 minutes. Okay, now Rush talks about how this is all done by design by Barack Obama and the Democrats. I'm sick and tired of hearing the right blame the left for everything that has gone wrong in this country. And I'm getting sick and fucking tired of the people on the left blaming the right for everything that goes wrong. Rush talks about how Barack Obama is printing up all this money and now we're $10 trillion in debt, even though he's cutting some deficits. I don't know. And it's Barack Obama's fault that there's no jobs in this country, and it's Barack Obama's fault that we're printing money out of thin air. But don't, and I agree with everything Rush says on these Greta videos, except Rush don't stop at the shoreline of the Democrats being at fault. Jump the river. Go to the other side and blame the Republicans too. Because George Bush started with his, first off, his freaking war that has cost this country so much money that we'll never be able to pay back. My grandkids' babies will never be able to pay back. Money, and you got to watch my video on the Federal Reserve. None of this will ever be paid back. None of this deficit and debt will ever be paid back, folks. Never. Ever. Taxes are not to raise revenue for the government to run. I disagree with Rush on that. Taxes are not. The purpose of the taxes in this country is to give money to the IRS, power to the Federal Reserve Bank through the IRS, not to run this country. This country can run, and did very, very well up to 1913 without an income tax or a Federal Reserve Bank or a central bank calling the shots. Let's see where I'm at. 8:34. Let's take a little break, and I'll be back to finish this up. This might be a 5-parter.